Hey, Jeff, throwing it to you in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if you have money in the stock market, sometimes you feel like you need a good an asset because it's up one day, down the next. We'll be talking to a financial expert who's going to talk about a different way to invest. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you've got some money in the market, sometimes don't you feel like you're at a roller coaster ride at Six Flags? Sometimes you're getting up to the very top and you know that there's something coming down the other side. To talk about a different way to look at your money is Rick Foster. He is the host of the very popular radio show, Plain Talk, No Worries Financial Hour, and you are the president and founder of Guardian Financial Management. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's talk about your overall philosophy when it comes to investing.
Well, I do things quite a bit different than the Wall Street stockbrokers. Typically, or let me put it this way, there's 2 schools of thought when it comes to retirement planning, and what the traditional Wall Street stockbrokers do is what's called probability-based planning. It's just a focus on the interest rate that they're going to try and get you each year, and they'll tell you once you retire, don't take more than 4% of your money out each year, and your money probably will last the rest of your life. I have a big problem with that word probably. I do what's called safety first planning, which has a focus on how much spendable income will my clients have. Will that spendable income in fact last the rest of their life? Not maybe, not probably, but will last the rest of their life. Making sure that spendable income increases the rest of their life. And so I build personalized written retirement income plans for people. We use some insurance products to give them some guaranteed income, and then we use some less risk market-based investments that still get better than average return, and build what we call a balanced income plan. So again, with a focus on how much spendable income will they have.
Outstanding, and you need to listen to this man. He's very wise. We've got a little video. We'd like to play that now.
Well, I am Texan by the grace of God, as they say. My office is in town, but my home is in the country. We like it that way. I got into the insurance industry in 1991 and progressed into the financial side, and then added securities to my practice several years ago as well. I had a couple who came in to see me. I asked them, and how did they weather the 2008 crash? And this lady told me, well, we lost over 40% of our money. And I said, well, how did you feel about that? She says, I was crying, I couldn't sleep, I was afraid we weren't going to be able to retire. And I said, well, what did you tell your current advisor? She says, I told him, don't ever let that happen to us again. I said, well, here's the third-party analysis that I promised to give you, and it shows that if we had another 2008, that again, your account would go down by approximately 47%. And you should have seen the look on her face. So we only get one chance to get our retirement right. And so a successful retirement plan is one that everything happens pretty close to the way that you planned and dreamed it would. I chose that name, Guardian Financial Management, because a guardian is a protector. Find ways to protect people's money, grow their money, but not risk their money. Sometimes can be a challenge, but I like a challenge.
Wow, great video, and I hope some millennials and some Gen Zs are watching this, Rick. I'm sure you're aware that with the pandemic, Las Vegas is closed for the most part, and I've read where a lot of these millennials and Gen Zs are day trading, and that's kind of a recipe for disaster, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, none of us know what the stock market's going to do from one day to the next. Warren Buffett once said that stock predictors give fortune tellers a bad name.
Very, very wise. I want to talk a little bit about your radio show. We're going to put it up on the screen. You've been doing this show now for 10 years. That's a long time to do a show. Tell everybody who hasn't listened to the show what it's about.
I've been told by all the radio experts that I do it entirely wrong. What I try to do on my show is not sound like an infomercial, but to try and educate people. And if you remember the scene out of The Wizard of Oz where Dorothy pulls back the curtain, well, that's what I do on my show, is I pull back the curtain and tell people the truth about what's going on in the financial world regarding their retirement.
Wow. I bet that makes you very unpopular with other financial advisors.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
So for you, what's an ideal client? Are they in their 50s?
Most of the time somebody about 55 years old
Yes.
or older, somebody that's beginning to think about retirement. They're probably fiscally conservative.
Yes.
They're a little concerned about what's going on with the stock market. They don't want to lose their money. Whether they have $250,000 or $3 million, it's all relative. The main concern that seniors have is running out of money.
Yeah, and we all remember the dot-com boom and bust, and then we remember the housing bubble bursting, and for a person nearing retirement or in retirement, they don't have too many of those cycles left. I mean, if you lose it, you don't have enough runway to lift off again, do you?
That's right. Met some people. I always remember one couple I met that retired in 2007. And within 6 months, they'd lost half of their portfolio. And they were just panicky when I met them. What do we do? And that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah. So for your clients, when the stock market goes up or down, your phone's not blowing up with worried investors.
Now, I manage about 200 accounts altogether, and so I know all my clients personally. And this past March, when the market dropped 34%, I got 3 phone calls out of all my clients. They were all older single ladies, and they said, "Are we okay, Rick?" And I said, "Yeah, we're doing just fine." And they said, "We just wanted to hear that."
Well, I like your personality, Rick, because you're the kind of guy that I would put my money with. You're calm, and you don't need somebody who's highly caffeinated trying to sell you this or sell you that. And there is a lot of that out there, isn't there?
Sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wall Street, all they talk about is, hey, we're going to get you 10% on your money this year. It's kind of like there's a guy on Fox Business News, really smart guy, his name's Charles. And I saw him one day talking about how the market was up 400 and some odd % since March of 2009. And I wanted to call him and say, "Charles, why did you pick March of 2009? How come you didn't include 2008? See? So there's a lot of manipulation that goes on.
Yes. You're also the author of a best-selling book. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen. It's called The Second Half, The Truth About Retirement Planning and Wealth Management. Tell us more about that book.
I wanted to put together a book that people could actually read. It's a small read. Somebody can read the whole book in an hour and a half. And like the name of my show is Plain Talk, well, the book is just plain spoken. These are some things that hopefully will give you some good information about what it takes to have a successful retirement. There's information in there about Social Security. There's information about taxes in retirement, all the things that affect how much spendable income somebody will have. And I knew that the average person wouldn't read some 1,000-page book on finances. So I put together a plan that kind of cuts to the chase, put together a book that kind of cuts to the chase that people could get some good out of, but would actually read it.
Outstanding. So what advice would you give to somebody in their 20s and 30s? Because the miracle of compounding is something that is lost on a lot of young investors who have an opportunity, especially if there's a 401k plan or something like that with the company.
Well, 401k plans are good in a sense because they take the discipline out of investing. And because money is so easy to spend today, your average young person is not very disciplined about investing. And so for most people, I would recommend that they do 401ks, TSPs, whatever they have available. But if somebody does have the discipline, or maybe they are investing, they are contributing more than what is getting matched, there are some alternative things out there. There's what's called a fixed index universal life policy that will build them tax-free income. Their principal is guaranteed. It has a lot of advantages over the traditional 401ks that most people don't realize have very high fees, and their money is also at risk. What we find is a lot of the young people just not investing at all because they saw their parents lose a lot of money, and so they're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Or like you said earlier, maybe doing a little day trading or something.
So under your strategy, it doesn't necessarily mean who's the president or whether we're in a recession or a boom time.
It's like the old saying, you know, hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And you put together a plan that no matter who gets elected, no matter how many bear markets that we have, that people's money is safe.
Outstanding. Well, Rick, we're almost out of time, so final thoughts for the audience. What would you like to leave them with?
You know, Vince Lombardi said, offense wins games, but defense wins championships. You've got to have some kind of defensive strategies in your plan. And the main thing is you need to have a plan. What I find is that most people that are with the big Wall Street, all they have is a brokerage statement. They don't have a plan.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Rick, it's so much wisdom here. We could talk for a long time. We're going to put the website up to end this segment. It's guardianfinancialmanagement.com. Rick Foster, and please tune into his radio show. It's every weekend.
And the easiest thing to remember is retirewithrick.com.
Retirewithrick.com. Outstanding. Rick, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.